Good morning, everybody. Hello. How are all of you doing? Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Tom and Lexi and Vintage Moon and Patrick. And I saw Ensky in here. Hello. And Laura. Good morning. Who else is in here? Good morning, all of you. I hope everybody's doing well today. Yeah. Welcome if you're new here. Thanks for coming by. My name is Dustin, and this channel, Modern Metaphysicae, is about all things occult and has esoteric, with a very heavy lean on the tarot. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out. I thought today we could do another episode of my recent roundups. So this is where I share with you all of the things that have come into my collection. And it when I was sitting down to do this one, I realized, like, holy crap, one, this is the last live stream of 2024, and two, like, it's gonna be 2025 in a couple of weeks. So that's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I hope you guys are doing well. Good morning. I need coffee. I need all the coffee. I know, it's crazy. Hello, good morning. Hi, Thought Thingy. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everyone has some coffee or a beverage to sip on and some snacks, and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I think someone got the prediction right. No hat and owl mug. Um, someone got it in chat. But yeah, as always, you guys, with all these live streams, if you are interested in any things that I'm sharing with you, you can find links in the description box down below. Down there, you'll find all the other good stuff, links to my social media, my website, where you can book a tarot reading with me, all that fun. You know the drill. Check it out. Go down there, click the stuff, poke around. Also, if you enjoy the video today, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already done so. It really does help the channel and the community to grow. Um, that being said, as far as housekeeping stuff goes, the survey for members to pick the next topic for study hall, which is a perk to all channel member uh, participants. I clearly need more coffee. It's that is up and live, so they will be picking the topic du jour, right, for January. And once the topic has been selected, I will compose a list of texts for us to select from, and then that will get posted to the community as a whole as far as what book we want to read for that topic. So be sure to go vote, members, if you haven't done so already. And there's lots and lots of stuff there for you guys to choose from. And yeah, so next study hall will be in January. I'm not sure on the dates quite yet. That will get posted probably later. It will probably be later in January than the start of January. So for those of you who are doing like New Year's stuff and things like that with your family or whatever, not to fret, we're not gonna like jump in right at the beginning, so we have a little more time. Other than that, I think that's it as far as that kind of stuff goes. Um, yeah, so let's dive into some stuff. I actually don't have a ton to show you. I was sitting down and I was like, what have I got in? Not a whole lot. Most of the stuff that I got in this month was Kickstarters. I haven't bought in anything because a lot of the things that I would like normally buy, I kind of give to people for like Christmas gift ideas, and then if I don't get them, then I go take care of them. 20 months. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. 20 months. Goodness gracious. That's almost 2 years. I can't believe it's been almost 2 years. It's insane. Um but yeah, so I was like, what do I have to show? And I don't have a whole lot. I have a few tarot decks and I have a couple books that came in, that I'm excited for. And yeah, so let's dive in. The first thing, so I did briefly show this with everyone um, on the last live stream. This is the tarot of Marsilo. This is the latest sort of text from Scarlet Imprint. And let's change can oh my goodness. You guys, thank, thank you, Lexi. 20 months. Couple of the original members. Oh my goodness. Big shout out to all the members. Yes, thank you all. I love you guys. You guys are the best. So yeah, this book took me by surprise. Let's flip around here. Why are we so... Give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to... Dun, 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 dun. So, this thing very much took me by surprise. I was quite impressed by it. It's huge. I have the camera zoomed all the way out, by the way. So just for context, this is a actual tarot card for scale. Um, actual tarot card for scale. So that's how big the book is. It's gigantonormous. Um, but it's actually beautiful. I love, first of all, the quality of the book is amazing, and there is tons of illustration in here. As we all know, I do really love the art side of the tarot. That is my kind of my niche, you may say. And yeah, I've really been loving this. There's a lot of art historical references in here, and things like that. It dives into a lot of the kind of symbolism and origins of these images that we're so used to looking at. And I will say the format of this book, having it so big, really allows for those images to be viewed clearly, right? And give you a good sort of way of looking at the images, right? A lot of times when we look at tarot books, the images are these teeny tiny little postage stamps, and it's hard to really see anything in it. So I really am thankful that they chose to print this in such a large format. That being said, it does drive up the cost of the book pretty exponentially, but it's beautiful. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. I mean, oh, look at that. Look at that. The Hercules. I think I showed this one in my deep dive series. So, yeah, this is I'm loving this. This book is like I did start reading it. I have not fully read it cover to cover, obviously. But as soon as I do, I will let you guys all know. But I'm really loving it so far. Um, and yeah, it's an absolutely stunning book. So if you're any way interested, and this is not, as always, guys, not sponsored, right? Um, if you're in any way, shape, or form interested in the history of tarot, and kind of the origins of these images and things like that, definitely check this one out. I'm quite impressed so far, and I will continue to be, because it's a beautiful book. Um, and huge. Absolutely huge. So that's one book I got. I gotta find a way to get this to not get this to stay up here so it doesn't tumble down. Okay. The second thing that came in was this little book. So this is another text in the series, Arcturus Press sort of hidden knowledge little book series, and this one is specifically on astrology. And I love picking these up because I like, one of the questions I get asked the most on my channel is always like, what is a good introductory book for X, right? And these kinds of books tend to be great little primers for a given topic. And this series of books, specifically from Arcturus and Sirius, kind of really nail it, right? Like, they're very much written from a 101 perspective, and they're beautiful, and the covers are gorgeous. The binding is really nice. You know, it's not like glue bound, which is really lovely. Um, the end papers are astrology papers. I mean, they're really nice little books. And this is just a great little kind of primer on astrology. I still think I did kind of take a zip through this. I still think my go-to beginner book on astrology is The Stars Within You. That's I think that will just always that book I just think nails it. Like but this one is good, right? The interesting one about this is it kind of breaks the signs down into like things that like traits and things like that, right? Like it talks about like passion for pets and minimal mindset. So like very kind of um like behavioral patterns, I guess, for each of the signs. So that's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. But it's, it there's nothing in here I was like, ooh, it does lean a little on the woo side just for those. But yeah, it's a good little beginner book. And so far, all of the ones that are in this series I have enjoyed and thought have been nice. So yeah, Astrology, the practice of celestial divination. They're great little books. They're quick reads too. You can chew through these things. I mean, this one's what I think it's like 180, a little more than that. It's 100. It's 200 pages. 208. 207. 208 if you include the further reading list and the um about the author page. So yeah, they're great little books. Go check these out if you haven't, or if you're interested in a given topic. They have these on a whole bunch of different ones. Um, Great stuff. So there's that. So that is it for books. Let me catch up on chat here really quickly. As always, guys, if you have questions or comments or anything you want me to read or see, do it in all caps or do at Modern Metaphysics. It'll highlight it with me. I too love The Stars Within You. That's yeah, you. Yep. I love that book. It's so good. Like and it's the I think the reason why that book is so good is that it breaks it down into like manageable chunks and it doesn't overwhelm you with too much too quickly, right? It kind of like, okay, let's talk about your natal chart and we're going to take it one piece at a time. Where I think a lot of astrology books who are written by astrologers who've been doing astrology for a very long time, they automatically already just want to jump into like, well, let's talk all about conjunctions and stuff like that and how important all that stuff is. And I think they kind of forget like what it's like to be a beginner and how overwhelming like astrology as a system really is. And that book doesn't do that. And I think that's why I tend to really gravitate towards The Stars Within You. So yeah. Um let's see here. Just looking. Oh, thank you, Jackie. I'm not missing. We've got Encyclopedia of the Tarot Talk by Stuart Kaplan. Those are wonderful. I wish there was more, but those were very much written in a time where tarot was a very kind of very niche thing. Robert N. Place Edmund Marsilo. Oh my goodness, you guys. Everybody's getting their campaigning in for what book we're gonna read next. It's so good, Alyssa. It's so good. I highly recommend. Um, the Robert M. Place book is very good. It is a very high contender. Don't you all worry. All right, so let's take a look at some tarot decks that came in. The first of which, and I might zoom in a little here just to see if we can see things just a little bit better, because you know you guys like to look at stuff, right? Okay, so the first one that came in here is the Children of Ostara. This deck really took me by surprise in a couple ways. One is um, I wasn't like the Children of Litha I like, but it's a deck that tend to gravitate towards seasonally. This one I just love. First of all, I love this fool. This fool is great. Like the choice of putting like the white snake instead of the dog, I think is wonderful. I really love the kind of like Fey energy in this deck. Um, the artwork is stunning. I love this Lover's card. So this one really just kind of surprised me because I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. I love this Hangman. The one thing that I really like about this deck is that it catches a sense of there's like a quality of light in all of the artwork and like luminance that I think is really, really well done and really well considered. So yeah, it's beautiful. I love the miners. The miners in these decks are always a little pippish, but I dig it. Bleeding Hearts. This was my favorite flower um, growing up, and it's so ironic that it's on this card. Um, because so my grandfather and I planted bleeding hearts in their garden when I was a kid. My grandfather was a prolific gardener. And I can still remember I loved bleeding hearts because I thought it was so cool. Look, it looks like a heart, right? Like the flower looks like a heart. And so as a kid, I loved them. And my grandfather, of course, loved that I loved them. So we planted lots of them in the garden. And then after he passed, none of the plants came back, and that to me was as always that was one of the very first sort of um like metaphysical, I guess, kind of things that I noticed, right? Like it was a very clear message to me, right? And that when I saw this card, like I got up in my feels very much so because of that. And I still remember that as a kid because my grandfather passed when um, I was still in. I think a ju- I was a sophomore or a junior in high school when he passed. So yeah, I love it. It's a beautiful deck. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fairly certain that they're going to be doing more decks for each one. The courts are beautiful. The thing I love about this too is it's very much in line with kind of like the pagan other worlds where the miners are pippish, but they still very much have that storytelling element that we see from the RWS, which I kind of like. And there's also very symbolic things here, like the magpie, right? The thieving magpie here, and the use of specific flowers and plants and things like that. So love it. Love it. Her decks always feel so cohesive too. Like the the palettes that are chosen for all of the pieces in a given suit and it but as well as like across the whole deck, like they're very well thought out. So that is the Children of Ostara. I wonder if this is sitting in my mailbox as we speak. Did you get a shipping notification? So got a little sticker action. Let's put that on top. So great little deck. Very excited to work with this one. Beautiful stuff. I love her work. I have all of her stuff, and I will continue to get all of her stuff. So there's that. Next we have the Little Monsters Tarot. So this came along with the Efflorescent Tarot. Bo- Excuse me. Both of these are by the same creator. But we're gonna take a look at Little Monsters first. So this deck, um, I when she first published this deck, I just didn't get it for whatever reason. It comes with a really lovely little hardcover guidebook, which is fun. But this one, the original deck, I just wasn't too keen on. Um, and the original deck also came in square cards, and they had like a round, like egg-shaped border, um, similar to the way these cards are cut. Um, Her artwork I've always found absolutely beautiful. And this deck I decided to pick up because I really don't have anything like this in my collection, and the this deck definitely has kind of a quality of like healing to it in terms of like connecting with kind of like your inner child, and like uh, your sort of what's the word I want to look for, like your your like intuitive playful side, I guess. And so I kind of just wanted to explore that a little bit, and so I was kind of looking for decks for a while there, that really resonated with me in regards to that, and there's not a whole lot out there, right, in terms of like my aesthetic. um so this one stood out to me because the line work is really kind of beautiful. It's quirky and kind of weird, but at the same time it has that kind of like childlike playful quality to it. And so I was like, you know what, let's just give this a go, right? So yeah, like this is it's a beautiful little deck. I've only done a couple of readings with it. I've had it for a week now. um and I put it back in order because I wanted to um show everybody and do a little mini review and walkthrough of it and stuff like that. That tends to be how I go about that. But yeah, I don't know. There's something like this deck. Three of Cups. I got this card. What was it? 5 days ago. Um, so today I have, after this video, I had my aunt who lives in Hawaii, and one of her daughters is visiting, and it was like a last minute thing. And I did this reading about like, what can I expect from like this like last minute thing, because I very much struggle like last minute plan changes, and like all of a sudden like I have to do family time and stuff like that. That um really challenges me, right? Like it's a hard thing for me to deal with. And so I did a reading to kind of like navigate those feelings I was having, and this card came up, and I was like, what a quirky card, right? Like the little faces, like I just loved it. So yeah, it's just great stuff. Like it's clever. It's clever use of like, it's imaginative. That's the word I'm gonna use. It's very imaginative, and I like that. So yeah, this so a couple of people are talking about like the size. So the original ones were square. The size of these is kind of, I mean, kind of tarot size, obviously, like not they're not terribly big, but they are oval. And there is a reason for that. I know it's in the guidebook. I haven't really looked at the guidebook all that much yet. Um, but I do know that there is a reason for the egg shape in the guidebook. I remember that upon like first perusal way back in the day. So this is one I'm very much looking forward to exploring and getting to know and working with. The backs are lovely. This kind of like starry, um, foily kind of thing going on. So it's yeah, it's different. I love the six. I do have huge man hands. Yes, yes, I do. I do. So yeah, that is the Little Monsters Tarot. So that came in along with, like I said, the Efflorescent Tarot. Now, yeah, shuffling this one. So when I could shuffle this like riffle, but I because it's round. Anytime we have like I have odd shaped decks. Um, I tend to just overhand shuffle them, and then like right now because it's in order, what I would do to randomize this really effectively before I use it is I'll pile shuffle. So I'll create like 3 or 4 different piles, right? And I'll just kind of like randomly put cards in all these piles. Um, and then I'll shuffle it from there so it gets nice and randomized when I first use it after it's been put back in order. Lexi, Lexi, I too have large man hands. Oh my goodness. You guys, chat is unhinged. It's the full moon in Gemini, right? Like that's why you guys are on the wild side today. We're gonna blame it. Today is the full moon in Gemini. Um, so we'll blame it on that, right? Is that what we're gonna do? Oh my goodness. So funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I would not have expected you to enjoy that. I don't know. Wild Unknown for me is a little. It falls into like a different space. I would have never compared the two. That really makes me like that cooks my noodle a little. Like I want to think about that now. Um, because like for me, this deck is much more childlike in innocence, where the Wild Unknown is like deep and like adult kind of themes and concepts in terms of like what I would reach for them for. So, hmm, that's interesting. I have to think about that. Yep, it is a full moon. It's a full moon in Gemini, which is the last full moon of the year. And then thankfully today also Mercury went direct with Sagittarius, which is the last ending of the last Mercury retrograde for 2024. Um, which is great because that kind of sends us forward, right? Because you have that archer energy from Sagittarius, kind of guiding us into the new year, which is really lovely, right? So um, that'll be good. And then on the 21st, coming up here, we have um, the sun. We have Capricorn season on winter solstice, which is a really interesting kind of uh, thing, right, to happen on the same day like that. So a little astrology for us. Yeah, Wild Unknown I think is one of those decks. Like people either love it or they hate it, right? Like I don't think I've ever come across a discussion about the Unknown on Tarot Tube anywhere, or even like on the Reddits or Discord servers and things like that, because I lurk in a lot of those places. um, I've never come across a conversation where it wasn't very like divisive, right? People are either for the Wild Unknown or they're against the Wild Unknown. And that's okay, but I think the thing for me about the Wild Unknown is this, and this is totally a me thing, right? For me, it was one of the very first decks that I got that challenged the archetypical expression and visual identity of the tarot as I knew it, right? So when I got the deck and I opened it up, I was like, "What the f is this?" Right? Like, what the f is this? And it wasn't until I kind of sat down and played with it that it kind of really made me go, you know what, the tarot it can be so much more than just what Pixie and Waite and Crowley um devised it to be, right? And what the Golden Dawn influenced it to be and things like that. So for me, it kind of always holds a spot of like an aha moment in my own like personal tarot path. And I think that's why I have such admiration for it. Um everyone knows my opinion on the well known known. Yep. We do. We know it's your favorite deck ever, Lexi. All right. So last but certainly not least, we have the Efflorescent Tarot. So when this deck has been out of print for some time, for a long time, and I dug out my original first edition of the deck, which came in this lovely like. Anybody remember these boxes? Like these are the boxes that your gifts from like your grandparents always came in, which I just have always loved. And and on the bottom there's this little like cotton batting to like fill the box and like give the cards a little cushion, which I've always loved. And these cards, I love this deck. Um, the art in this is just so quirky. And these cards are super glossy. Um, but I've always just really dug this deck. It's and I titled this stream is uh I feel like I'm gonna sneeze like constantly. I titled this stream, right? Are tarot cycles a thing? Because I started when I started on TarotTube, this was kind of like on its way out in terms of its like availability. And I remember doing a review of it. We're talking about it on a live stream. And then like when I got this and I was like, oh, I'm gonna show it on the live stream again, it felt very like cyclical. Like here we are talking about the same decks again because they've been reprinted, right? Um, and so that was it made me think like everybody talks about like fashion trends, right? Like how like when you've been around the world enough times, you will start living through like fashion cycles, right? And that's never really like clicked for me, but like this made me think of that. Like, oh, are we going through a tarot cycle? And like, are all the decks that I was interested in back in like 2015, 2014 gonna come back now? Right? Effectively 10, oh, criminy, 10 years later. Is it? Yeah, that's crazy to think about, right? So it was kind of this moment where I was sitting back looking at this and going, are tarot cycles a thing? So chat, what do you think? Like are tarot cycles a thing? Um what do we think? So let me pull this out of the box. So you get this nice little guidebook with it now, which is lovely. And the cards are still glossy. Um They are gilt in this like coppery gold color, which I really love. I can't see myself. There we go. Make sure you guys can see things. But the quality is really nice. So let me in terms of like card size, they're pretty much the same size. Obviously not as rounded of corners. And then let's find oh, the Fool's right there. Look at that. So we can compare here. In terms of like print quality and um like image quality, you can see this one is it's shrunk just ever so slightly, but the colors and everything pretty much are identical for me sitting here looking at it. I do prefer this one over this one because one, I don't like the huge rounded corners on the original version, and two, the cardstock on this one is um it's thinner, but it's not thinner in a bad way. It's not as chunky. Like this is a very chunky deck. Um, so yeah, little comparison there. Oh, and then backs. The backs are the same design, but they embellished a lot of the elements of the backs with gold foil, and then of course this you have this like soft sky blue now as opposed to just a white. So So yeah, this deck I love. I think for me, like, there is a sense of somberness and like internal reflection in a lot of the faces of the characters in this deck. A lot of people don't like this deck because of like the weird spindly arms and hands and stuff like that. I love it because I effing hate drawing hands. And so like I just love like I'm just gonna draw my hands the way I want it, and there's no shame there, right? Now, what I haven't done is I haven't gone through this side by side to know if there was anything that was changed, and I don't remember from the Kickstarter if any of the cards were changed. So, chat, if you guys know, let me know. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there were no changes to the artwork if I remember correctly. Um, but this deck has just like a very, uh, it has like a deeper, darker side of things, right? That I kind of really like. It leans more towards the emotional side of tarot for me, and a lot of the reasons why I turned to tarot um, when I was younger, and I think that's kind of part of what it reminds me of. There's a lot of really great little esoteric symbols, right? Like you have um, the sun cross in the Judgment card and things like that. Um, so there's a lot of little esoteric nods and hidden gems like that throughout the deck, but it very much follows the RWS system. Um, I love like this, right? Like it's either setting up for the party or just after the party. It's not during the party. Like we often see it, right? So yeah, love it. It's just a wonderful little deck. So I'm glad to see it back in kind of print for people to get their hands on because for a while there, these decks, the original ones were going for insane amounts of money, which is fine, but yeah. There is, yeah, like there is a little bit of a, like a melting fluidity to things. I love this 8 of Cups so much. I love it. I love it. This is very much a nod to Palladini, I think. I don't know if that's true or not, but I like to think that in my head. And I will say, like, of all the we don't need to look inside my coffee cup. That's kind of not lovely. Of all the kind of glossy cardstocks that are out and about, like this one I don't mind as much. It doesn't feel like the cheap, icky glossy cardstock. Like this feels very intentionally high quality glossy cardstock. It does give the artwork like a very um high contrast, right? Because that's what gloss will do is it will make the darks darker and the lights lighter. Um, and so I kind of like that. I'm not of course glossy cardstock is not my favorite thing, but I don't hate this, if that makes sense. So vintage rouge. I want to trim it. Yeah, you could trim this. You definitely could trim this down. I don't mind borders. This 10 is so intense. I love the quartz too. The quartz are great. But it definitely has that like I think for me, like I think one of the reasons why I like it is it does have kind of a nod to like the new Paladini tarot and the Aquarian tarot. So and it is bigger than standard tarot size. So for those wondering, it's basically the same height, but quite a bit wider. So if you don't have gigantic gorilla hands like I do, you'll probably end up having to do like overhand shuffling. But it shuffles really well, right? Because it's glossy, it has that nice slide. Everyone's having astrological kind of epiphanies in chat right now, which is really funny. All right. So that, my friends, is all the things that I got this month. So obviously, my family has a tendency to always buy me um tarot and esoteric books and things that were on my list for the holidays. Um those are easy gifts, as they like to say. So hopefully I'll have a few things to share with you all come the new year. But yeah, does anybody have any questions or anything in chat? And while we're reading on that, yeah, I actually don't think I have anything else coming in from Kickstarter this year. I think everything else is coming next year. I can't wait to get my Hexen Tarot. I am so excited for that. But yeah. The last deck is the Efflorescent Tarot. Um, Efflorescent Tarot. What's the Gemini full moon? What the Gemini full moon will bring us? Gemini full moon is like, it's kind of a good time to like clarify things or to kind of cut ties from like toxic situations, um uh and kind of move forward into like a better space. It's also going to be a time where it just kind of feels like things become more clear, right? um that's kind of so far what I've seen. Dustin, you didn't do this the Sybil? What are you talking about? What you talking about, Tom? I'm confused. Help me out. I'm very under caffeinated this morning. um. Oh, the TRMA. I did. Is that supposed to come in this year? Yeah. I backed that. Yeah. I don't know if it is it supposed to come in. I haven't gotten mine yet. If it is, I haven't even looked. If I'm perfectly honest. Um. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it may get here. I doubt it. Everything takes like extra time to get to me because I live in the boonies. Um. Hey, Cosmic. But yeah. Lexi, so dramatic, so funny. But yeah, this has actually been quite a light month in terms of things coming in, which is nice. And I've got some plans for back here. We're gonna do a little project. So all these shelves are gonna everybody say goodbye to these. I don't. It may happen before the new year. I'm not sure yet. But all these shelves are coming down. This little bookshelf here, I'm Vanna Whiten, is gonna go live outside my office door. There's like a little entry hallway situation outside my office door. So it's gonna live out there, and then I'm gonna build in bookshelves in like this area behind my office door here because it's like in a weird there's like a weird like closet space where this corner juts out, and there's like it's just a weird space, but it's perfect. It's perfect in my opinion for like a bookcase. So I'm gonna build in shelves there so that I can use the whole chunk of that like awkward wall in this space for books. So I'm excited for that. because we all know that'll give me some more room for more books. Snail farms? What snail farms? Snail farms. We're not we're not farming snails. No, no. All I have are narite snails. They won't even have babies. I don't want to be overrun by snails. I don't have news on that, actually. I'm not sure if the Darkness Light will have a new edition or not. I will say that the creator is very responsive to emails. The couple of times that I emailed and had questions for him, he did respond right away. So maybe try sending him an email. Um, Snail Army is building. No response. Well, it's the holidays, right? So we'll see. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure about. I haven't really heard much in terms of news from the Darkness of Light creator. Yeah, I can't believe it's gonna be 2025, you guys. That's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah. Well, let's get things wrapped up. Um, First of all, just a huge shout out and thank you to everyone this year for your continued love and support. This was a really, really tough year for me. A really tough year, both on YouTube and off YouTube. And all of the people who reached out with kind words and supportive messages and well wishes, and all of you that show up and watch the live streams and chat with me and send me emails or instant messages and hang out in Discord and all that kind of stuff. I just want to say thank you. Like it is you guys are the reason why I've kept showing up, and it's been a year to say the least. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart for making the best that this year could have been, and here's to 2025 being a much better year. I think all of us are going to sail into this new year in a uplifted and wiser sort of personal transformative way. And I think for us the next year is going to be amazing. So it's the last stream for 2024. I just want to wish all of you the very best for the rest of the year, for your holiday season. If you are someone who struggles with the holidays, know that you are seen. Don't struggle alone. There's lots of resources. Reach out, talk to your friends and your loved ones, etc. And I hope all of you have an amazing new year. And we'll see you guys around Discord, around YouTube, and over on the new year in 2025. So, as always, guys, remember and never forget that everyone is fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So, be kind out there. Bye, everybody.